Hello, and welcome to a short presentation about the NextLabs Microsoft Windows Desktop Enforcer product. The NextLabs Desktop Enforcer is an endpoint entitlement manager. It is designed to control access to and use the information from a user's Microsoft Windows workstation. For this demonstration, we have a set of business requirements that we want to meet using NextLabs ABAC, or Attribute-Based Access Control policies. These requirements are based on a different user, data, and location attributes. For example, in this scenario, while managers are authorized access to all files, other employees are only authorized access to the files for projects they are assigned to and components they work on. The demonstration will show how access to unstructured data on a file server is restricted to only authorized users. This slide shows the various subject and resource attributes that will be used for the demonstration, along with a list of objects that will be used. It includes tables showing what attributes each user has and how the locations are defined, which projects are production versus development, and finally the files that will be used along with the attributes of each. We'll be using the attributes on the previous slide to demonstrate how access to the classified files can be restricted using attribute-based access controls. We have two sets of policies. The first set of policies limits a user's access based on the attributes in a comparison of the attributes to that of the file. The second set uses location to determine what users may have access to. Both sets of policies work together to determine what access a user has to a particular file. Now we're going to take a look at the NextLabs Desktop Enforcer. As we go from the scenario, we've got three locations: the office, the factory, and the VPN, and three different users, Ann, Bob, and Chris. Now to begin, we're going to look at Ann, who's logged in from the office. Look at Ann, she's got several files in her documents here, and she has access to all of these files as a manager. And so click on different files, you can see that she's able to open all of these files. So now we're going to copy these files out to a network share where other users could get access. And so we have this shared files folder. We're just going to paste those out there. And you can see even after copying them out there, Ann still has access. And so the first thing we're going to test is controlling access by the visit. And so we're going to log in. We're going to show Bob here logged in from the factory. And we can see that if he goes out there and looks at that shared folders, he still has access to all these. And as you can see, Bob is assigned to the Jupyter project. And so if he opens that file, he has access. But he's not assigned to the Intrepid project. And so if he attempts to open that, you can see he's given this deny permission. He is not allowed access to that file. So he can get into Jupyter, but he can't get into Intrepid. And so now if we go down and look at Chris and look at that same shared files, like Chris is assigned to Intrepid. And so when he tries to open the Intrepid file, he can get into it where Bob could not. But he's not assigned to Epsilon. So when he tries to open Epsilon, he gets denied. And you can see he's not allowed access to that file. And so you can see how we can control access based on the classification or marking by the visit. And we can show additional fine-grained control by not only the visit classification, but the component marking. And so if we go down back here to Bob, we can see he is assigned to the Jupyter project, and he can work on wheels and bearings. And so if he opens up this Jupyter bearings file, it opens up. But if he tries to open the Jupyter spoke file, you see he's denied access. So you can see you can get additional fine-grained controls, not just by the initial marking of the visit classification, but additional markings based on component or other things. Now, we also have controls based on location. And so here we've got the office, the factory, and the VPN. And if you remember, we had a policy that said you couldn't open development visits from the factory. And so you can see Bob is assigned to the next-gen visit, but since he's in the factory, he shouldn't be able to open next-gen visit files. And so let's try that out. So here's a next-gen bearing file, which Bob's assigned to next-gen, and he works on bearings. But if he tries to open this file, you can see he's denied access because of his location. Additionally, we can do other controls. And so, for example, we had policies that said if you're on the VPN, you can only view the files. And so we can go down here. Chris, who's logged in from the VPN, he's assigned to the Jupyter project. And so if we open this Jupyter file, he's allowed to open the file. But if we try to edit the file and then save it, you can see he's denied access to that. And so it's not letting him save this file. In fact, if we try to save, he's denied. If we close it, it's going to ask if we want to save it. We can try, but it's not going to let it happen. And we can go back and open that file, and we see that that text was not added to the file because he's not allowed to edit the file when he's on the VPN. So we can see that the desktop enforcer is allowing for very fine-grained access control based on not only the attributes of the object, the file, or the user, but also the location. This concludes the presentation of the NextLabs Enforcer for Microsoft Windows Desktop and how it uses ABAC to restrict access to unstructured data. Please go to www.nextlabs.com for more information about this and other wonderful products from NextLabs.